Good morning, everybody. Firstly, I'd like to thank everybody that's here, senior dignitaries, members of the industry, government, and also the press. It's a privilege that we are promoting and launching the Africa Food Show. My name is Zahoor Ahmed. I'm the Vice President for Strategy and Partnerships. I want to go very quickly through the challenges of what we have been addressing with the ministries and the agricultural sector within the African sector. And because we work very closely with the federal government and local governments, we've noticed that agriculture is a very top priority in terms of the percentage of the GDP, but also as a top priority for the economies in terms of growth. And this is one of the reasons that we're looking at obviously launching the platform. Our unique position within Africa is that we are a business to government consultancy, so we work with the governments directly in supporting their mandates, and we play a very vital key role in terms of helping them deliver that. We need to make sure Africa is ready to address the ongoing and future demands of the food sector, because it is one of the staple economies for every sector, and we want to make sure that Africa, which is the farm table for the world, has to secure and to protect the Pan-African supply, but also within its local economies. Now, there's a lot of food sector challenges, including global trade, urbanization, a very prominent growing middle class, and a massive change in spending behavior within the kind of business community and the consumers, which inevitably has an increase on demand on food production, but more importantly on food security and regulation. Now, the future trends for the industry are vital, and this is one of the reasons why we have launched the platform. The world population growth, as you can see from the statistic, is going to increase. And that kind of brings a more important amount of kind of pressure and strategy that we need to bring to the table. And the economy, especially for food, has to be ready for it. Now, the key trends within the food industry are technology, sustainability, globalization. Mergers and acquisitions in the food sector globally are combining their kind of logistic plans and their sources and everything in their markets to make sure they can deliver more effectively. Healthy alternatives within the food sector is vitally important. And as everyone knows, climate change has a massive impact on this sector. So the industry needs to be very focused and dedicated in terms of managing these future challenges. The African population is dramatically rising. You know, each of the cities in Africa are growing, they're becoming more prominent, their trade is growing, and that internal ecosystem has to be managed and protected. So the export versus import balance, which obviously inevitably has an impact on global trade, is going to be critical for us to kind of work with governments and work with industry to ensure that they can also reach their kind of targets. Now, I'm just going to quickly do a little video in terms of the actual food sector growth and the kind of challenges that are being presented. So we've now launched the Africa Food Show, which is the premier Africa global platform for food trade, and africafoodshow.com is the website which kind of represents our platform. So how is the food show actually going to be contributing? Well, MIE's strategic partnership with agricultural and trade ministries in 11 countries within Africa is vitally important. And we use that kind of connection with our government and trading platforms to raise the mandate of each of those governments. We understand the African economy. We are in 11 countries through our successful China Trade Route platform and other sector growths that we're looking at. We understand the regional industries that are affecting the economies. And most importantly, as a global organization, we understand global trade. So AFS will address the supply side and the global economy of food and its direct impact on Africa through the entire supply side of the actual food sector. AFS mandate is very important that we present a viable, credible and long-term solution through the platform that we're going to be creating. And one of the key factors that where we can contribute with government and industry is representing the FDI infrastructure. The B2B platform will have industry research, we'll have trade delegations and hopefully more and more regional industry partnerships that we move forward with. Now, one of the biggest platforms that we'd like to kind of present is African Food Show will be co-located with China Trade Week. We are the #1 business-to-business platform in Kenya. We will be proud that we're going to be in the 6th edition next year when the AFS will be launched. We are going to be integrating a global and local campaign, not only through Kenya, through our Dubai, but also China offices, to represent a platform that we can be very proud of. CTW brand is a Pan-Africa brand, and it has a very high visibility within the industry, within government and associations. And we are continuing the development through industry partnerships, and we're looking at more direct and committed industry and media channels to launch African Food Show. Now, I'm just going to do a very quick video of China Trade Week in terms of what we've achieved in Africa. So that's China Trade Week, where we have China Trade Week represented in multiple countries here in Africa and the Middle East. MIE Group is, we're very proud that we're in our 20th year in terms of our kind of anniversary. We're an international group. We specialize in global trade, and throughout the entire platforms that we have, we represent over 20 sectors. And obviously for the African Food Show, the food sector is vitally important that we obviously develop and invest in. Over the past 20 years, we've worked with and assisted over 80,000 businesses to open the Africa and Middle East market, and a lot of these clients kind of work with us continuously, annually, to kind of develop further trade. Investment into Africa in all of the territories that we are very kind of strategic, and obviously Kenya is our East Africa headquarters, but also our kind of Pan-African group strategy area. And obviously we have local representation through GEX, which works closely with our global headquarters and are part of the MIE group. So we're very proud to kind of obviously announce the African Food Show, and I'll now be introducing my colleague to explain the African Food Show in more detail.
Thank you very much. Now remember that the Africa Food Show will happen between the 24th and the 26th of June 2020. But in the meantime, please be sure to check out the website, which is www.africafoodshow.com. Now, some of the questions that come to mind when I think about the Africa Food Show are, say, why Kenya? Why Nairobi? Right? Is it because Nairobi is the eastern gateway into the African market, or is it because it is the home to thousands of Kenyan businesses and even over 100 major international companies and organizations who will exhibit? What will they exhibit? Will there be ice cream? Anyway, I'm joking. And here to answer some of these questions is a man who has a very African name, I have to say, but he's very Lebanese. But his name is not the only interesting thing about him. He has years of experience in international sales and business development, and he's currently the Vice President Sales and Marketing at MIE Groups. Please, ladies and gentlemen, help me to welcome Mr. Fadi Kodura.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. I have to hold this?
Yes.
Okay. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me start by a welcome note. So I learned yesterday, which was my first day here in Kenya, that to say welcome in Kenyan, it's karibu. So karibu to everybody. And thank you very much for taking time out of your businesses and your busy schedules today to be with us. Let me start by welcoming Ms. Lucy Njenga from the Ministry of Agriculture and Dr. Fred Simiyu from the Ministry of Industry and Trade. Distinguished commercial directors and trade commissioners, distinguished diplomats from the foreign missions here in Nairobi, distinguished members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. As a professional in trade fairs, first I would like to introduce myself. I'm new with MIE. I joined the company very recently. I work out of the Dubai office, but I'm not new to the exhibition business. I have been working in the trade fair industry for over 22 years, and I've gathered a lot of experience in this field, organizing a huge number of shows in the Middle East region mostly. And so hopefully we will also have a very successful experience here in Kenya introducing the Africa Food Show. My colleagues here in the Nairobi office gathered some information recently about the food sector in this country. And some of the numbers that have came up with in the study that were very informative to me is that 80% of the Kenyan population work in the agriculture sector, which contributes directly to the GDP 26% and brings in 60% of the export revenue and the export earnings of this country. So this is quite informative to me. Food imports also in that study for the first half of 2019 have risen 12.55% compared to the same period, the half of the year 2018. And compared to 2015, food imports, these are 2017 statistics, food imports between 2019 and 2015 have risen to double, and compared to 2010 have tripled. So this shows that there is a huge need for imports of food commodities into this country. The imports of food is on the rise, as we can see from these figures. The gap between homegrown food and home-produced food and the needed food is becoming bigger and bigger. It's widening, especially in major commodities like corn, wheat, rice, sugar, some of the major commodities. The total food import statistics of this country in 2017 reached $3 billion. This is vegetables and foodstuffs and animal and vegetable byproducts. So this is quite a huge figure. Who are the major trading partners in the food industry? Who are the suppliers? I give some examples for those who are unaware. For example, Russia is responsible for 30% of Kenya's wheat import. Mexico, responsible for 45% of Kenya's corn import. Pakistan, Thailand, and India, responsible for over 90% of Kenya's rice import. Brazil, Egypt, and India, responsible for over 50% of Kenya's sugar import. Indonesia and Malaysia, responsible for over 95% of palm oil import. So, is there a market for food in Africa, in Kenya specifically? Yes, of course. Sorry, this is not moving. No problem. Okay, what does the exhibition industry look like in Kenya? In recent years, the exhibition scene in Kenya has seen a shift, a major shift, from B2C shows to B2B shows. I am told that 8 out of 10 exhibitions that take place here in Nairobi or elsewhere in Kenya are mostly B2C shows. But B2C shows do not bring the business to the country, do not bring the prosperity to the country. B2B shows does. They do. What does it take to stage a successful show in a country like Kenya? It takes to stage a successful B2B show, number one, like we said, a market. Is there a market? Definitely there is a market. And does this market play a regional role? Of course, it does play a regional role because Kenya is considered as the Eastern gateway, the economic and business hub to Eastern Africa. It is the Eastern gateway to the continent. Yes, this is for sure. It also needs some courage from an organizer that has experienced, like MIE Group have experienced in this country since the idea came to perception in 2013, and it was put to action in 2015. So the courage that it takes is readily available. MIE is locked and loaded to move forward with more specialized shows. From this year onwards, we promise more shows. It takes also knowledge, because you can have the courage, you can have the idea, you can have the courage, you can have an idea, but you need also knowledge. You need to know a lot about the market of the country where you're hosting the show, and you need to know a lot about the neighboring countries where this show is going to be hosted, because the most successful shows nowadays are shows that serve a region. This is what we aim for Africa Food Show, to become a regional show. And it requires investment. It requires young and capable manpower, service-oriented manpower, because this is in the heart of the service industry. Wherever a successful trade show lands, it brings a lot of good to the hosting country. And we can see example everywhere we look. Anywhere a successful B2B show has landed, you can see the flourishing of business, the technology transfer, and the establishment of a lot of partnerships and joint ventures and SMEs and what have you. The brand Africa Food Show in few years will travel across the continent. In East Africa, Kenya was chosen or has been chosen as its permanent home. Why? What does Kenya have to offer to make it home to the Africa Food Show in East Africa? Why? Number one, among many other characteristics, is the accessibility for travelers. Travelers can come to Kenya more freely than other neighboring countries in the region. It is undoubtedly the economic and business hub of East Africa. And with direct accessibility, direct flights from all over the world, from Asia, from Europe, from the Middle East, from everywhere. This also facilitates the travel of businessmen and exhibitors and visitors from the region and abroad. This is an important item, accessibility. Without accessibility, you cannot hold a regional show or a business-to-business event. And of course, the monetary policy of the country. The main features of the show, what will the show contain? What will it show? In the brochure which you have in your envelopes, you have a long list of products, okay, which represent the basic elements, the basic, profile of the show. So you'll have all the food products, from staple food to chilled food to frozen food to food additives, to bakery, to ice cream. Also, to answer the lady there. So the whole spectrum, the whole display of food products, whether it is spices or rice or corn or the derivatives or oils or nuts or what have you. And there will be also, aside from the food section, the direct food section, also there will be fresh produce. There will be also, fresh produce, the farm produce will be on display. We will also have a section for processing and for technology, for packaging, because also we are not only addressing the food, we're addressing the food technology sector in this show. How can the producers, the farmers, package and process their food and store it well? So this is also an important component of any food show, is the processing and the technology side. Without it, it's not going to be a full show. Now, what is the aim of the Africa Food Show? Why is MIE holding a food show here? Why? Or basically, what is the intention behind organizing any show, okay, any B2B show? What shows normally do is to create partnerships and joint ventures. They also facilitate the technology transfer. They also create hundreds of small and medium enterprises. Many companies start in shows. A visitor comes, visits a company, takes the idea, starts a small or a medium company. So it creates a large number of SMEs. It also creates new agents and new distributors. So the B2B platform, which this show represents, brings together the buyers and the sellers, the exporters and the importers. They will meet with each other, discuss business opportunities, learn about new market trends. So you will have exhibitors coming from many countries, to this show, meeting with local and with regional buyers and with regional, professionals. At the same time, this is a two-way street. Also, the Kenyan exhibitors who will be part of this show will have the opportunity to meet with their fellow professionals. Also, it will help Kenya meet a lot of people to whom they can also export. It is a chance, this show, Africa Food Show, is a chance for local and regional buyers also to save on money they spend and time they spend to go and attend international shows that are, number one, far away, and getting there is becoming extremely costly. The time, the money they spend to go and visit shows, whether they are in Europe or in North America or in Latin America or in Dubai even. Africa Food Show will be a show that will provide them with this B2B flat platform without enduring a lot of cost. So this is one important aspect of holding the Africa Food Show here. We intend, in few years to turn the Africa Food Show into the main annual meeting point of the global food trade in East Africa. This is our target, our aim, our mission. The exhibitors of this show will come from basically everywhere. A lot of them will come from Asia. Also, many of them will come from Europe, Middle East, and North African countries, and from as far as Australia, North America, and Latin America. Early indications tell us quite clearly that the Africa Food Show will proudly welcome over 10 countries, whether they are national pavilions or country groups of exhibitors. These are the early indications, and we're looking forward to have much more than that. The visitors of the show, some profile and shedding some lights on who is going to be invited to visit this show. As a B2B show, this show will not be accessible to the public. This is strictly for business people. Business people could be the importers, the supermarket owners, supermarket chains, the private and institutional caterers, hotels, restaurants, the cafes, and many of the commodity importers and distributors. Where will these visitors come from? Our target is not, I repeat, is not to welcome visitors only from Kenya. Number one, our main target is we want to get visitors from all over Kenya. And we have a plan for that. When I said in the beginning that you have to have the courage, the knowledge, and the investment, you have to have a strong heart if you want to enter into the exhibition industry. We are planning to bring visitors from all over Kenya. If it takes bringing people from Mombasa, for example, and helping them out with the cost of their trip, we're going to do it. If we have a key buyer in Mombasa, we're going to bring him in or bring her in. We're going to help them to finance their trip. We're going to have a show that welcomes professional buyers, professional industry groups from all across the country. Not only that, we will also be looking forward to invite highly selected visitors from neighboring countries, from Ethiopia, from Tanzania, from Uganda, from Rwanda. This is going to give the show the power from the first year. It will hit the ground running. So this is the kind of courage that we have, this is the kind of knowledge that we have, and this is the kind of investment we're willing to put. So we will go through organized visitor delegations. We will not just open up like a small mini market is opening in the morning and waiting for the customers to come. This is not how professional trade fairs are done. You have to work hard on getting the exhibitors, and you're going to give them a promise, and you're going to deliver on that promise. So, to help us do all this, we are going to need a lot of government support, a lot of industry support, a lot of professional support. We need all the trade associations working in the agriculture field or the food industry to come on board and become strategic partners to this show. We need everybody on board. We look forward to the foreign missions that are present with us today, and we thank you very much for taking the time out of your schedules to be with us, to help us to make noise in your home countries, to talk to the export promotion councils, to the trade associations in your own countries, to come on board, to take advantage of this show from its first year. So with this, I come to the end of my presentation. I hope that I have contributed to the to the quality of this meeting, and I hereby announce that the bookings at Africa Food Show are officially open. You can go to the website and book. Thank you very much again.
Thank you very much. Now, at the Africa Food Show, you will get the exclusive opportunity to explore new territories and, of course, multiply your export activities, as well as meet and network with global companies, fellow professionals, and discuss the latest market trends, cutting-edge production and processing technologies. Now, you'll also meet food industry leaders. We're talking about family-owned farms to multinational power brands, both exhibitors and visitors. Now, imagine having 3 full days to interact and discuss partnership agreements, sign some agency and distribution contracts, and even develop new market strategies. Now, all this would not be possible without the next speaker. He carries the vision. He has undeniable passion for Africa in general, and he is ready to lead Africa into the future. He packs years of experience and skill, and I would say he is brave, he is bold, and he's very innovative. So please join me in welcoming the MI Group Chairman, Mr. David Wong.
Thank you. Sorry, good morning. Just now my colleague, Mr. Zahu and Fadi, share all of you a lot of the sense. To be honest, I don't want to take a lot of you guys' timing. I'm here just for thank you our media partner, our government entity, our stakeholder, our media friend, and our future potential exhibitors and visitors. So we are here, I just share with you 1 minute our MI strategy. So as my colleague mentioned, 6 years back, actually to be honest, I be Kenya first time on 2003. It's not 2013. It means 16 years back. So my second visit is 2013. My third visit, 2014. We decided here, we should make something here. So connection, our company strategy connection, China with Africa. We'll do the 2-way. So start from 2015, we follow our President's Belt and Road Initiative. We start our China Trade Week. We successfully did the last 5 years. This June, we have the 5th edition anniversary. So our strategy is not stop on only for China, only not for service Chinese coming here and Kenya visit to China. No, we are passionate to service for global traders. So that's the reason we start our office here in Kenya with our partner, with Kenya partner, GX. So we are here, we're service long term. We select Kenya as a gateway to the East African business hub. So we will introduce not only AFS, as my partner just mentioned, AFS is one of our projects we're going to introduce for global traders. We have a lot future. We're announcing and coming soon. So again, thank you all of you. I think most of you, some of you still don't have the breakfast. I will hand the microphone to our minister colleagues to give the really welcome speech and support to coming our events. And this is launch show, but we're not feeling new here. We're here already 5 years plus. We were here the long term. So I hope everybody in this house give us real support from our AF's day one. Thank you, all of you.
Thank you very much. I think it's time to mix up things a little bit with a lady. Now, she's here to represent the Permanent Secretary, State Department for Crop Development and Agricultural Research. Please welcome Madam Lucy Njenga.
Thank you. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, I want first of all to convey the Principal Secretary's greetings and apology for not being with you due to many engagements he had this morning. I'm sure some of you even saw him late last night at 10 in Citizen TV, so you can see how many different engagements he normally has. So in the room, I've seen we are many ministry officials, especially from the Ministry of Agriculture, Livestock and Fisheries, including our research, that is Kenya Agriculture Livestock Research Organization. And I would like them to stand, maybe for you to appreciate them. Yeah, it's good. These three here, the two here are from Kenya Agriculture Livestock Research Organization, that is CARO. And I know you are going to partner a lot with the CARO. Then we have Madam Dr. Kimani. She's the MD, KEPHIS, that is Kenya Plant Health Inspectorate Service. And you cannot do about food without going through that institution. If you want to bring any food to Kenya, that institution is very important. We have officials here from Agriculture Food Authority. Agriculture Food Authority implements our Crops Act. They are part of the ministry implementing the Crops Act. And therefore, again, when it comes to our export and our food crops, you still meet the two gentlemen. There is Kubok, Mr. Kubok, in charge of food crops. We have Mr. Odaje, who is in charge of horticulture. Both of them are directors, food crop and horticulture. And of course, Agriculture Food Authority, it's not made only by 2 directorates. It's made by actually, I think, 8 directorates. So we have the coffee, the tea, the pyrethrum, the nuts and oil, the fiber crops, all that make Food Authority. Thank you so much. And I'm Lucy Jega, Director Policy Research and Regulation, and I'm representing the PS. Today, it's not a day for us to do speech because we came so that we can learn and know what you are intending to do. And as government, you come learn and know what people are doing, what people are championing for. And because government is open to partnership with different stakeholders, it's always good to know what each one of them is offering, appreciate, and see how you can collaborate and cooperate moving forward. So first of all, I would like to say I'm very happy. And this is the same thing my peers would have said, that is happy to be part of this auspicious occasion. And I thank the organizers for this occasion very much, for bringing all these stakeholders together. It takes a lot of effort to bring stakeholders and relevant stakeholders, bring them together to discuss business and discuss how they can plan things in future. It takes a lot of effort. And therefore, I thank the organizers for doing that. Secondly, I would like to tell you, as a ministry, we are given our mandate through our president, who gives us the executive order and gives us a mandate. And one of the mandate of the ministry is to give enough food to this country. That is a mandate we have been given. And I'm sure many of you have heard our president talk of the Big Four. And we are supposed to deliver 100% food and nutrition security to our people by 2022. It is not an easy task, but it's doable. And when we partner with you, I know we'll learn a few things here and there, especially on technologies, and we'll be able to deliver the 100% food and nutrition security. Towards that, as a ministry, we have developed an agricultural sector transformation and growth strategy. It's there in the website, you can look at it. And that strategy is designed to deliver the big four. And within that strategy, we have 3 pillars. And one of the pillars, as the first speaker said, Kenya has over 70% smallholder. And one of the pillars is actually to increase the smallholder farmer income. And the second pillar is to increase agricultural output and value addition. And I think what you are planning comes and resonates very well with the value addition. Because when we are doing value addition, we require different technologies to add value to what we are producing. And the third one is to increase household food resilience. And therefore, it's very important for all Kenyans to have affordable food, and we hope we are going to do it. So today, I'm not intending to make a long speech. Therefore, I would like to thank JAKES and MIE group for planning this event and bringing all of us together. We look forward. We have been told the show will be 2020, so we look forward for that. And I would also urge that it's good you engage the ministry more, because this is not a one ministry affair. As you move forward, you realize you require Ministry of Foreign Affairs, you require Ministry of Industry, Trade, and I think Ministry of Industry, Trade and Cooperative is here. Yes, because that is a very important ministry whom you need. Our work is to produce enough for the people and for manufacture and for value addition for export. Industry come in to do the export and also the other refor of business. And it's also good, I let you know, that through Constitution 2010, we have a devolution structure. And therefore, we don't like saying we are doing the production. Production is being done at the county level. Ours at national level is to do the policy and strategies and guidelines, but the actual implementation is done at the county level. And therefore, we can never ignore the county governments, and there are 47 of them, very important because that is where food production is coming from, and also that is where majority of the people are. So we need them also to be on board. So let me stop there. I thank you so much, and let's continue engaging. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, can we talk about our favorite fruit, avocados? Now, recently, Kenya scored the export success when we were allowed to export avocados to China, and I think that's some really good news, right? See, we clap for that. I think that's some really good news. But what does it mean for you? Now, we've been told that the Ministry of External Trade, Industry and Cooperatives is very important. And please join me in welcoming Dr. Fred Simiyu, and I hope he will talk about, avocados as well.
Your Excellencies, Commercial Councillors, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I bring apology from my principal secretary, who is away in Geneva, the headquarters of multilateral trading negotiations. Otherwise, he would have liked to be here. So I'm representing him. The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Cooperatives is pleased to be part of this auspicious occasion. And I commend the organizers of the show for planning the event. So today's gathering is a preamble of 2020 food show that will be at the Kenyatta International Convention Center. So it's actually a preamble of the 2020 June show. So it's a preparation, or it's a, what can you say? It's a build-up to 2020. The ministry seeks to be as one of these objectives is to be a globally competitive, of course, industrial, trade and cooperative sector. So we want to promote trade. Me, as coming from international trade, we seek to promote both local and international trade. And through promotion of this trade, of course, there is a multiplier effect in terms of employment creation, income generation, and poverty reduction. Furthermore, we have our small enterprises here, micro and small enterprises. Of course, when we have agency agreements and we need to work together, of course, it yields what we call technology transfer in terms of food production technology and quality standards. So in some way, our capacity to manufacture products for export to China, especially food products, will be increased. Because we hope even in case this arrangement yields some industries, foreign industries into this country, we'll have what we call subcontracting arrangements with SMEs. And that's how globalization is attained in terms of standards, in terms of quality standards and hygiene. So the State Department of Trade would like to pledge our support and encourage the commercial councillors present to sensitize your various business entities back home to take advantage of this opportunity to do business in East Africa. As you are aware, Kenya is an economic hub of Eastern Africa. In the past, we used to say Eastern and Central Africa. So we are an economic hub and very crucial to China. Now there is this issue of avocados. Of course, we have market access to China in terms of avocados and other agro products. Other products like stevia. And we are continuing to negotiate other market access for our country. So the presence of China here is a reciprocal approach, because scratch my back, I scratch yours. And through such arrangement, there is development, which is beneficial to all the people of the two countries. So even before I conclude, I've come with my fellow international trade officer. We work together. Mr. Kwamba, you can stand up to be seen. You are mentoring the younger people like him to become like us. So it is good that he's here to see what happens here. So we look forward to seeing you all at Kenyatta International Conference Center in June 2016. Thank you.